Hey guys, so today we're going to go over another example on the difference of cubes. So make sure you have the difference of cubes formula out. A to the third minus b to the third equals a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so if you look at number 3, there is a GCF. They don't have any variables in common, but 24 and 1029 can both be divided by the GCF of 3. Of course, you're going to, take a little bit more time on that by listing all the factors of 24 and see which one 1029 can also be divided by. But just for time's sake, the GCF is 3. If I factor it out of each one of these terms, I would be left with 8x to the 6th power minus 1029 divided by 3 would give me 343y to the third power. I'm bringing down y to the third power. 343 we've actually done in the last tutorial. So I will just underline my GCF so I remember to bring it down. But side note, a to the third power is 8x to the 6th power. So in order to find out what a is, so I can write it in its factored form, I'm going to give it a power of 1 over 3. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So 3 times 1/3 power to a power multiplies to just be a to the first power, because 3 times 1/3 is 1. This one, I just want you guys to make sure that you are taking the cube root of each one of these. So meaning 8 to the 1/3 power and x to the 6 to the 1/3 power. So 8 to the 1/3 power, you're either looking for a number that multiplies by itself 3 times to give you 8, or you can plug that into the calculator, make sure the 1 over 3 is in parentheses as I showed you in the last tutorial, and that would give you 2. And just like we did here, when you have a power to a power, you multiply. So 6 times 1/3. I'm going to take sidebar from this sidebar, but 6 times 1 over 3. We multiply fractions straight across. The fraction form of 6 is 6 over 1. And when I multiply straight across, I get 6 over 3, which is just 2. So this would give me x to the second power. Remember, we don't need to do anything with this minus because we have a formula for the difference of cubes. But I am going to note that b to the third power is 343y to the third power. So b to the third power equals 343y to the third power. To get b by itself, I'm going to get rid of that cube by giving it a cube root or a power of 1 over 3. Same thing to the other side. Power to a power is just multiplying to give me 1, and then make sure that each one gets its own power of 1/3, so you're cube rooting it correctly. Okay, so in this case, 343 to the 1/3 power, we've done that one before. That'll give us 7. And then if I have a power to a power, we've actually multiplied 3 times 1/3 before. It just gives us 1. When you multiply reciprocals by one another, you'll just get 1. So we have A, we have B. So we're going to just rewrite this formula, replacing A with 2x squared and B with 7y. Be careful with this because make sure you replace in parentheses. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So A minus B would be 2x squared minus 7y, A and B. So we're just subtracting it. I'm going to bring down the 3 just so I don't forget it. And then here it says A squared. So I know that A is 2x squared. What happens when I square that? So just another sidebar here. A squared means I'm going to square 2x squared. So just like before, make sure you square each one, which means you're going to square the 2 and you're going to square x squared. So a squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. And then remember, power times a power, we multiply, so we get x to the 4th power. So a squared would give us 4x to the 4th power plus ab. So we're multiplying a times b. 2 times 7 gives me positive 14. And the variables, I just bring them both over, but in alphabetical order. So x squared y. And then last part, it says plus b squared. So remember that b squared, if b is 7y, when I square it, b squared equals 7 squared times y squared. So b squared would equal 49y squared. So at the end of this would say 49y squared. I'm going to separate that, and this is my factored form. All right, guys, I hope this helps.